Hello kiddos, today I'm going to read you Librarian's Night Before Christmas. Librarian's Night Before Christmas. 'Twas a cold Yuletide evening and I wandered the stacks, shelving multiple titles that the patrons brought back. We told over time at our library here, 'cause the powers that be cut our staffing this year. They spent pork barrel money like a tidal wave sea, but no funds trickled down far enough to reach me. Our books numbered few and were falling apart, and I sat mending pages with a crestfallen heart. Still, I answered the phone with Christmas good cheer and supplied all the names of the North Pole reindeer. I slumped addled and weary in my Yuletide apparel. I felt like Bob Cratchit in A Christmas Carol. What happened next didn't seem to be real, 'cause out of the sky cruised the red bookmobile. Up to the front steps flew this library bride with a portrait of Shakespeare airbrushed on the side. Someone exclaimed, "I'll fill all their shelves." Then a door opened up and out popped 6 elves. They wore belled Christmas caps on their unruly hair and hung holiday wreaths on our stone lions there. Santa charged through the door and his black knee boots shone. He bowed as he asked, "Needed interlibrary loans?" Flummoxed and flustered, I fumbled about. I didn't know whether to check books in or out. The holster wore crimson, his fedora was green, his body weight was challenged, if you know what I mean. He was bearded and gabbed like a good storyteller, and he grinned like a writer with a New York bestseller. Nick was jolly and droll, a white mane crowned his head, and I could tell by his dictation he was very well read. "This place needs some cheer, so let's make a start." Then he whistled in elves pushing loaded book carts. They stocked Hawthorne, Jane Austen, Steinbeck, and Millay, and for the more macho, they supplied Hemingway. They shelved new science fiction and tombs from the past and sneaked in romances for sweet Molly McNast. Nick signed Newbery winners and starred Caldecott's. Each child got a book which delighted the tots. He read stories to children by our small Christmas tree, while one little tyke took a snooze on his knee. Elves poured steaming hot cocoa in bright Christmas mugs and rolled out soft carpets to replace our frayed rugs. They fixed leaks in the ceiling and patched the cracked wall and hung a large portrait of Mark Twain in the hall. Nick chided a censor who wished some books gone and suggested she scan Fahrenheit 451. For the book budget cutters, Old Claus had no plan, 'cause if they could read, they just read Ayn Rand. The elves catered a feast straight from the North Pole. They carved turkey with trimmings and buttered hot rolls. Nick nibbled a drumstick, gave his tummy a pat, and tossed a small portion to the library cat. Organized goodies so we couldn't miss them, according to Dewey and his decimal system. I thanked the old elf for the wonderful show. He nodded and whispered, "It's time that I go." After checking his watch, he paid overdue fees, while folks promised to read and unplug their TVs. With these library gifts, my world shined much brighter. But this crew had a schedule, a bookman all-nighter. Nick winked at the cat as they dashed down the aisles and yelled, "Happy reading, you bill of the files." He loaded his crew and sang from the yard, "The best gift of all is a library card." His ride lifted up and flew over the gate, and just to show off, he zoomed a fast figure 8. Nick boomed from his book van, "Do one more good deed, have a real Merry Christmas, and teach someone to read." Merry Christmas. I hope somebody like this shows up for our library.